Karen calls 911 over my dog swimming in my lake, then got exposed for faking property lines. The lake shimmered under the noon sun, its surface rippling as my golden retriever, Max, paddled joyfully near the shore. I stood on the grassy edge, tossing a stick into the water, laughing as Max splashed after it. This was our routine, a slice of peace in our small town of Willow Creek. The lake, nestled behind my family's modest cabin, had been our haven for years. But today that peace shattered. Karen stormed toward me, her face twisted with rage. She was the neighborhood's self-appointed watchdog, always armed with a phone and a complaint. Her floral dress fluttered as she jabbed a finger at me. "Get that mutt out of my lake," she screeched. I froze, confused. Her lake, the property line ran through the middle of the Waterme family, had owned the western half for decades. A fact documented in every county record. "Your lake," I said, keeping my tone calm. "Karen, this is my property. Max isn't hurting anything." Her eyes narrowed, and she pulled out her phone, dialing with theatrical flair. "We'll see about that," she hissed. Within minutes, sirens wailed in the distance. My stomach churned. This was absurd, calling 911 over a dog swimming? Max, oblivious, shook water from his fur, tail wagging. Sheriff Daniels arrived, his cruiser kicking up dust on the dirt road. He was a tired man used to Karen's antics. "What's the issue, ma'am?" he asked, adjusting his hat. Karen launched into a tirade, claiming I was trespassing, that the entire lake was hers, and that Max was a public nuisance. I explained my side, pointing to the old oak tree marking the boundary. Daniel sighed, rubbing his temples. "Let's see some proof," he said. Karen produced a crumpled map, thrusting it at him. "Here's my deed. The lake's mine." I glanced at the paper. Something looked off. The lines were too clean, the ink too fresh. My heart raced. Was she faking it? Before I could speak, a voice cut through the tension. "Hold on, Sheriff." Old Mrs. Larson, our reclusive neighbor, hobbled forward, clutching a yellowed folder. Nobody expected her. She rarely left her porch. Her sharp eyes locked on Karen. "I've got the original survey from '72. Been in my attic since my husband passed." She handed Daniels a faded map, its edges brittle. The sheriff's brow furrowed as he compared the documents. Karen's face paled. The truth unraveled like a frayed rope. Karen's map was a forgery, her property line drawn to claim the entire lake. The real boundary, as Mrs. Larson's map showed, split it evenly, just as I'd said. Daniels turned to Karen, his voice low. "Care to explain this, ma'am?" She stammered, her confidence crumbling. "Two must have mixed up the papers," she lied, but her trembling hands betrayed her. The confrontation escalated. Karen's voice rose, shrill and desperate. "This is my home. I've lived here longer than him," she shouted, pointing at me. I snapped back, my patience gone. "You don't get to rewrite history because you want a bigger yard." Max, sensing the tension, growled softly at my side. Mrs. Larson stepped closer, her frail frame steady with resolve. "You've bullied this town for years, Karen. It stops now." The crowd that had gathered, neighbors drawn by the sirens, murmured in shock. Karen's reputation as the town tyrant was no secret, but this was new. She'd always pushed boundaries, from reporting kids for skateboarding to demanding hedges be trimmed to her liking. But forging a deed? That was a step too far. Daniels folded the maps. "This is a civil matter, but falsifying documents? That's serious. I'll need to take this to the county." Karen's eyes welled up, but not with remorse. Anger burned there still. She stormed off, muttering about lawyers. The crowd dispersed, whispering among themselves. Mrs. Larson patted my arm. "Don't let her kind steal your peace," she said before retreating to her porch. I thought that was the end. Max and I resumed our walks, the lake ours again. But a week later, the real twist came. Karen didn't just fade away, she doubled down. She posted online, spinning a tale of victimhood, claiming I'd harassed her and that Mrs. Larson was senile. The post went viral in our small community, splitting opinions. Some defended Karen, swayed by her crocodile tears. Others rallied behind me, citing her history of lies. The town fractured, neighbor against neighbor. Then came the final blow. Karen's son, Tim, a quiet man who'd moved away years ago, returned. He showed up at my door, eyes heavy with shame. "I'm sorry," he said. "Mom's been like this forever, obsessed with control. I found her editing that map on her computer last month. I should have stopped her. His confession hit like a punch. Karen wasn't just a nuisance. She was calculated, willing to fracture a community for a few feet of water. Tim's words spread, and Karen's facade collapsed. The town turned on her not with anger, but pity. She'd lost more than a lake. She'd lost trust. Her house went up for sale a month later, and she left without a word. Max and I still walk by the lake, but the joy feels bittersweet. The water's calm, but the scars of that day linger. What hurts most is the division Karen sowed. Friends stopped speaking, families took sides, and trust eroded. Was she a villain? Or just desperate for control in a world she couldn't shape? I don't know. Max chases sticks, oblivious, but I can't shake the weight of it all. What do you think was Karen's lie, a petty grab for power, or a deeper cry for something else? Share your thoughts on justice and community in the comments below.